Chapter 2. When the woman at the funeral home, the one in the long floral dress with the frizzy French braid, asked for a picture of Zoe, my mom dropped her head in her hands and sobbed so hysterically that my dad pulled her close, clenched his jaw, and nodded firmly, as though he was already working on it. Started at the toe of my black Converse sneakers, noticing how the fabric was wearing thin and wondering what that lady could possibly need a picture for. I guess it seemed like a weird request considering how pretty much everywhere you look in our town you see a picture of Zoe, and since my sister was always so exclusive and hard to pin down in life, it seemed like I actually saw more of her after her disappearance than I had when she lived down the hall. First, there were two missing person flyers taped to just about every available surface. One with a stiff, grainy black and white grabbed a panic and copied from last year's yearbook. The other one of Zoe, more recent headshots depicting her as beautiful, loose, and happy. More like the sister I knew, that also included a generous reward for anyone with any information, no questions asked. And then, as the days ticked by, her face started appearing just about everywhere in the newspaper, magazines, and nationally televised news reports. Even the makeshift memorial built by well-wishers and propped up in front of our house contained so many candles, poems, and stuffed animals, angels, and photos of Zoe that it threatened to take over the entire street until my dad enlisted a neighbor's help and hauled it all away. The funny thing was, Zoe had always dreamed of being a model, an actress, someone famous and admired by all. She longed for the day when she could escape our small, boring town and go somewhere glamorous like LA or New York, someplace exciting and far from here. And so while we were out searching, while we were busy smothering our doubts with hope, I played this kind of game in my head where I pretended that all of this was great exposure for Zoe, and that her future as a famous person, just like it was the ultimate casting call. And I spent those long, empty, thankless moments imagining how excited she'd be when she finally came home and saw her face plastered across all the nation. But then later at the memorial, as I watched my parents make the world's most depressing arrangements, encouraged into credit card debt by the man in the stark black suit who guided them towards the most luxurious casket and the most abundant flowers and the whitest doves, sparing no expense at her memory, I sat wide-eyed, realizing that the lucrative business of loss, while wondering if my mom got irony behind Zoe's ambitions and the woman's request, and if that was crying so hard. But then I guess there were millions of reasons to cry that day. So it's not like I had to go searching for the one. I didn't know why that woman wanted a photo, but I doubted my dad's grief-stricken and distracted would ever remember to give her one. So after that day, I signed away their savings and were headed out the door. I reached into my blue nylon wallet and the one with the surf band sticker still partially stuck to the front, its edges frayed and curled around, and retrieved the photo of Zoe had given me just a few weeks before. The one that showcased her dark eyes, gorgeous, generous smile, high cheekbones, and the long, wavy, dark hair. The one she'd planned to send to the big New York and LA agencies. Here, I said, pressing it into the woman's soft, round hands, watching as she did the quick intake of the breath. I was so used to seeing when comfort with an image of Zoe for the first time. She looked at me and smiled, the fine lines around her blue eyes merging together, almost joined as one. I'll be doing her makeup, and I wanted to get it just right, so thank you. She left the last part dangling, looking embarrassed that she knew about my loss, but didn't know my name. Echo, I smiled. My name is Echo, and you can keep the picture of Zoe. You can keep the picture. Zoe would have liked that. Then I ran outside to catch up with my parents.